I got a really wild question for you. What if you actually cut off a good parent? What if they weren't toxic? They were just doing the best they could in life with the skills they had. What if, I don't know, they weren't perfect, but they showed up every day. They took care of you the best they could. What if estrangement isn't always brave? And what if sometimes, I don't know, it's a refusal to deal with discomfort or have those hard conversations? Life is hard. But not every parent who gets cut off is the villain. Some of us are honestly just standing in the wreckage of life, wondering what the hell just happened and how to navigate this thing called life.
Oh gosh, I'm going to be snarky sparky. So if you're not here for it, scroll on by. Oh, wow. As if when we go no contact, we don't second guess it at all. As if we don't think maybe it wasn't that bad. Do you hear the guilt and the fear and the thing that she's doing? I get the feeling with her, that she is really speaking to her estranged adult child or children. I really do. I get the feeling from her videos that that's her real target. That and trying to make some money off of, I'll show you, off of things like this. And off of things like this. And so I'll just keep kind of flashing them on the screen. Whenever I have pictures and stuff, it's usually off of the platforms of the person who I'm featuring, for lack of a better word. I want to break this down though. So let's go bit by bit. And I tend to forget things. So, because sometimes they just blow my mind. Some of these estranged parents really blow my mind. And she reminds me a lot of Doormat Mom, the way she really doubles down and you did the wrong thing and we're not the villain, good or bad, just all the things, right? And she's definitely one of those estranged parents that fails to want to acknowledge or see that most estrangements are not about what happened, what was done to us in our childhood, although that certainly is a huge portion of it. The foundation of the relationship that we have with our parents is built on what they form with us, the bigger people to the little people in our childhoods, right? However, that to be said, most estrangements, from what I can tell as a therapist, as somebody who spends a lot of time in this field, who researches a lot, I see more often than not that the estrangements have been caused by what is going on in the current relationship. That the child has hit adulthood and the parent has not. The parent is still behaving with them in the same way that they did when the child was growing up and had nowhere else to go. And the child reaches their maturity and now they stick around for a while. So if it was just because of childhood abuse, then why aren't children the minute they turn 18 leaving? Or when they get to university, get out of university and have resource, why aren't they leaving immediately upon those moments? Like, why aren't they leaving sooner? And the reason is it's not by and large related to the childhood. It's more related to what's going on in present time. And so what happens, myself included, we hang out. I've been estranged for over 30 years. Trying to show up as good daughters and sons because we believe more times than not that the way we're being treated, which has been normalized, is our fault. And if we do better, we'll get better. This is what these types of parents, I didn't say her specifically, these types of parents who speak this way, leave behind. This is what they lead us to believe. And your parent is the person who teaches you what your reality is. And then as life goes on, as we continue in these relationships, showing up, trying to do better, maybe learning how to set some boundaries. Oh, you're changing. Yes, because I've grown into adulthood. You're not changing because you're still treating me like I'm the child that you have ultimate power over. And that's when the relationships really start to fall apart. Beyond that, as adults, as young adults at that time, I'm not a young adult now, 59. At that time, we gain life experience. We gain contrast. We maybe get married, start building a family of our own and go, oh, it's really easy to love my child and not be a jerk to them. Oh, it's wonderful to build my child up instead of tear them down. We start to get contrast that allows us to know it actually wasn't because of who we were, it's because of who they are as our parents. It's because of what they brought into the relationship. We were just born into it. And it takes time for all of those pieces to fall into place and for the messaging to unravel. As that begins to happen and we start to evolve and they don't, they go, well, that's in the past and it's all about the past. And you're going, okay, you're never going to acknowledge that, but what about how you treat me now? I went through a lot with underneath my mother, I always say, because it wasn't with her. She wasn't experiencing it. Underneath my mother as a child growing up. Physically, the worst thing she ever did to me, which paled in comparison to the emotional violence, was drop me out of a 2-story window. She tried to unalive me. I didn't even realize she was trying to unalive me until a few years ago. Because I walked away with 2 broken arms. I was so focused on that, it never occurred to me that she actually would have no way that I would walk away from that, and every reason to think I wouldn't. I didn't go no contact with her because of that. I didn't go no contact with her because of anything she did to me. I went no contact because I had a 6-year-old and a 2.5-year-old that she was triangulating and boundaries she wasn't respecting. And even with that and all the emotional violence and all the exposure to other abuse that she put me in the middle of, with all of that, there was a point in time, 17 years into our estrangement, where I literally said to her, we never need to talk about the past. Because she asked me if I wanted to be in a relationship with her. And she said the magic words I rarely heard. I love you. I miss you. Do you want to have a relationship? As she was embracing me. She pulled out all the stops on that one. And I melted. I'm like, oh, is she going to be my mom now? She's always been my mother. That's biological. However, is she going to be my mom now? And so I put it out to her that we never have to talk about the past. All I want is let's go have lunch. Let's go have fun. Let's be in each other's lives. Let's do the mother-daughter things. And I put it in different words, but that's what I was saying to her and included some of that actually. And you know what I got in return to that? Crickets. Because she didn't have an intention of wanting a relationship with me. She wanted to look good in front of other people. And I'm sure she made it seem like she tried and that I declined. And that's not true. The bottom line is, we don't leave the minute we have a chance. Some people do, but most of us don't. We stay in it, trying to work it out, trying to be better. And then we're trying to grow our parents up to a place where, okay, can you treat me like you do, I don't know, a stranger on the street and just be basically nice? I'll take anything you got, just not the pain and the sabotage and the smear campaigns and the disapproving glances and the criticism and all of those things that come along with it. I'll take it. I leave the past in the past. I'll go there with you. Let's continue with her. Snarky Sparky.
What if they weren't toxic? They were just doing the best they could in life with the skills they had. What if, they weren't perfect, but they showed up every day. They took care of you the best they could. What if estrangement isn't always brave? And what if sometimes, I don't know, it's a refusal to deal with discomfort or have those hard conversations?
I don't look at estrangement as being brave, and I've never heard an estranged adult child say, I'm so brave, I estranged from my parent. I'm not saying it isn't brave. I'm just saying I don't personally look at it that way, and I'm wondering where she's drawing that messaging from. I mean, she's out here selling a message to other estranged parents and little packages and things like that too. So she has a target audience outside of the son that she's like hyper focused on, or daughter. I don't know. Why do I assume it's estranged son? I'm not sure. So I'll take that back. Anyway, she's definitely got one estranged adult child. I haven't looked enough into her background or her story, and I don't even think I'm going to watch more of her content. This came up on my FYP, and I thought, okay, I've done one of her, I'll do one more. I don't look at estranging as brave. I look at it as survival and as an opportunity, the only opportunity that we have to be able to grow and break the cycle of abuse when we are attached or underneath a parent who absolutely refuses to come to the table with any sort of love, kindness, respect, and safety. We escape for our survival. My children were seeing something that I knew was going to be detrimental. They were being hurt by, and I made the decision to go no contact to protect them. I didn't factor into it, and I cannot say that if my children weren't in the picture that I would have walked away from my mother. I really, at that point in time, believed I deserved the way that she treated me, and I don't know how it would have been that I would have gotten to a point to learn differently. I don't know. That's not how it unfolded for me. If you're an estranged adult child, do you look at it as being brave? I would love to know, and can you tell me why? And I'm not asking, it's not a proof thing, just so you know, this is a safe space. I'm just really curious to know and open my mind to how we would look at it that way. Do I think it's courageous to walk away from a parent who's abusing us? I guess that's brave. And face life alone? Yes. And as I say that, I don't think that that's what she means. I think she's leveraging it in a way to diminish us and invalidate us, right? When a lot of us walk away from a parent, we aren't walking away from the rest of the family. We're not necessarily walking away. I thought I would walk away with my mother's son. I call him that because he stayed put. And with one of my aunts at least, and I actually thought I would have the rest of the family. I had no idea when I walked away from my mother that they would just not even like connect to me. And when I walked away from my mother, they didn't go no contact with me. They just didn't stop doing or start doing anything differently. They weren't checking on me. They weren't a part of my life. And I mean, from the age of 17 to 23, none of these people were showing up. I saw them from time to time, but that's not the same thing as showing up. All these people who acted like they cared so much and that they were helpless and couldn't do anything, when they had the opportunity to show up, they absolutely didn't. I didn't get that at the time. When I went no contact with my grandparents and everybody started blowing up my phone, what a horrible person I was and attacking me, they all discarded me. And I had an inkling that was going to happen, meaning my therapist told me so, that was the likely outcome. That inkling was me not believing it. I was like, surely my brother and my mother's son and my aunt will stay, but it didn't happen that way. So, you know, I can't say that what I did was brave or I just don't feel that way about it. I do feel like it was courageous. Are they literally the same? I feel like I need to Google the meanings. They feel different to me, and I'm in like one of these because this is like my 6th video of the day. I'm in content creation mode. So, okay. Let's carry on with her, shall we? Yeah.
A refusal to deal with discomfort or have those hard conversations? Life is hard. But not every parent who gets cut off is the villain.
have the hard conversations? You mean the ones that would typically lead to some sort of conflict resolution, the thing you never modeled for us? The hard conversations that you didn't allow space for when we were children, where you apologized, self-reflected, took accountability, created safety so that we could come to you and know that we weren't going to be judged and abandoned emotionally? You mean those hard conversations that you conditioned us into silence not to have? And then in adulthood, when we tried, we got, you're changing. You're disrespectful. Oh, I was terrible. I wasn't perfect. I was a good parent. Those conversations, you can't have conversations with a wall. You can talk to the wall, but you can't have a conversation. And you cannot have conflict resolution with a wall. What's the point of a conversation? Let's say it's not a wall. Let's say we're in the conversation and you bobblehead it and you apologize and you do whatever and you go, I'm sorry if that happened, if I might have, and you do the thing and you make it look like my mother actually did this without the apology. And you make it look like you're listening and you're going to respect the boundaries because you're recognizing that your supply is about to flee out the door if you don't do something in that moment. And then you go right back to the same behavior. Well, yeah, that was a hard conversation that led to absolutely nothing more than that adult child recognizing I am wasting my time here. And I deserve better than this. And you're not going to get access to me to hurt me anymore. And then accuse me of not wanting to have hard conversations when you don't want to do the hard thing, which is go to therapy and look at what your part to play is in this and how you aren't evolving and changing while I do. So, she can fuck right off with that. I wish I had wine in here.
Some of us are honestly just standing in the wreckage of life, wondering what the hell just happened and how to navigate this thing called life.
I got a really wild question for you.
She is so profound. This is where she's like doormat mom, Sometimes you deserve no act. I can't. I just can't. That was horrible. I'm sorry. And I'm not cutting it out. So this is me having a moment. Literally, I've been making content all day. It's not about being the villain. It's not about being right. It's not about being wrong. It's about being a loving and kind human being. It's about loving your adult child more than you have the need to control them. It's about showing up with an open mind, emotional maturity, and the willingness to become the person that is the safest person for your adult child. I'm a mother of 3, a grandmother of 2. And I hope that my kids look at me as being the safest, one of the safest people, because I don't want to be the safest. I want them to have lots of safest. It's not a competition. If you know, you know. I'm just in the wreckage of life. I so feel like she's talking to her estranged children. You wrecked my life. I'm not the villain. And what you're doing isn't brave. It's abandonment. That sort of thing. What do you think? What do you think of her little profound epiphanies? She's making me scratch my head. I wish that estranged parents out there would get the message that, one, don't follow people like this. Follow people who are where you want to be. This is misery loves company. She's looking for supply. She's touching on the buzzwords and the soft spots of people who are vulnerable, who genuinely are hurting, who are trying to figure out, how do I fix my relationship with my adult child if they come back, who are likely also feeling abandoned and unloved and all of those things as well, and not recognizing that, they're the ones who set the tone for the relationship because they were, the bigger people. And people like this keep those people locked into place where the estrangements become permanent. So if you want to be in a place where you have healthy relationships in your life where you feel lovable, where you feel good enough. Following people like this, that's not going to get you there, because that's not where she's at. You know, she's being really critical and judgmental of estranged adult children because she's angry that her own child had the audacity to walk away. She's not talking about accountability. She's asking all these open-ended questions, right, to identify her target audience, which obviously is her estranged adult child, but also other estranged parents out there. And then she's going to sell you a $17 PDF and coaching program. And that's not going to get you where therapy is going to get you. You know, reading a PDF isn't going to get you there. That's not going to get you into a place where you're growing and glowing. Even if your estranged child never comes back, don't you want to live a life where you are comfortable in taking accountability, accepting things that you can no longer change, and showing up for yourself and the people that you care about in a way that you feel really good about and comfortable in? That you don't have to come from a place of manipulation and control. You know, people like her, like at this point in time where she is, I'm not going to identify her as something. Misery loves company, and it's clear that she isn't evolving into looking at what did I actually do that created a situation where my own child couldn't stand my presence. I'm going to leave it right here. I just think it's so sad. And thanks for being here. I really appreciate you.